Beautiful singing fills a train station in southern Taiwan. The calligraphy, paintings, and ceramics on display are the works by Typhoon Morakot survivors. Through the exhibition, they want to tell everyone, "Thank you, we're fine." In August 2009, Typhoon Morakot hit Taiwan, bringing copious rainfall that wrought catastrophic damage in southern Taiwan. The entire town of Shaolin in Kaohsiung was buried by a landslide. All across Taiwan, nearly 700 people were killed. Morakot was the deadliest typhoon to hit Taiwan in recorded history. To those who were affected, their pain and grief were unspeakable. After the disaster, helicopters shuttled back and forth to lift trapped residents to safety. In hot, humid weather, the long wait became an immensely agonizing experience for those expecting news about their loved ones. Four days after the disaster, a rescue helicopter crashed into a valley. 3 people on board were killed. At the disaster areas, cleanup efforts had begun in no time. All across Taiwan, volunteers, soldiers, students, and members of the public and private organizations all poured into southern Taiwan to help. Tzu Chi volunteers also quickly gave out hot meals, cash aid, and thermal blankets to those affected. The volunteers even transported heavy machinery down south to help the disaster areas recover sooner. Every day, hundreds of Tzu Chi volunteers took the train to Kaohsiung to help with the cleanup. In 7 days, the volunteers made a total of 150,000 trips to the south. 74-year-old Chiu Mei-yu lived all by herself. Before Tzu Chi volunteers came, she could do nothing about her flooded house but sit on her doorstep and sigh. Today, with the help of Tzu Chi volunteers, she was finally able to clean up her house and furniture. After her house was cleaned up, Grandma Chiu was able to return home. But for those whose houses were destroyed, where could they go?
规划的机制之下呢，他应该那么迁离他的地点。
刚开始的时候，真的每一个人我都看到都很惶恐的心，都是怕怕的。但是到被安置以后，一直到说要给我们，自己要给我们做这个永久，开心了。
The government decided to relocate those living in the mountains, and Tzu Chi decided to help by building permanent houses for them. On November 15, 2009, the first community of permanent houses to be built by Tzu Chi for Morakot survivors broke ground. Every day, thousands of Tzu Chi volunteers gathered at the construction site to do what they could to help, along with a group of highly efficient soldiers. As a way to provide relief to those who had lost their homes, Tzu Chi organized a Cash for Work program and invited Morakot survivors to build their own homes. Six months after Morakot hit, right before the Chinese New Year, Morakot survivors happily moved into their new homes. In the new community, the residents are able to settle down and start life anew. But to most of them, life in the lowland is very different from that in the mountains. To make a living and help support their families, the housewives in the new community took up vocational training and learned to make handicrafts. 10 years have passed. How have these housewives been doing all this time? Back in 2011, 2 years after Typhoon Morakot hit, Tzu Chi collected 20 sewing machines for the housewives living in the community to learn sewing skills and make handbags and other cloth products. To sell their works, the housewives also organized a cooperative, which has been receiving subsidies from the government since 2012.
我们上面有贩卖，但其实贩卖不是我们最主要的目的。我们是希望大家看到，我们可以做这样的产品。
In 2016, the cloth bags made by the housewives had a brand name, Sunny Bubao. In 2018, a big order from a fast food chain and a printed fabric brand greatly increased the visibility of Sunny Bubao.
我们大概花1个半月的时间把它全部制作完毕。对，这是一个我们非常开心是接到了一个很大的订单这样。
With the second-hand sewing machines that Tzu Chi collected for them, this group of housewives have worked with their own 2 hands and made a successful career for themselves.
在这边很幸福，很快乐，有工作，也很有成就感。
在这里也可以照顾到自己的家庭，因为小孩子还小，所以他们都还在读书。 然后可以不用离开家很远去外面工作，是一件很幸福的事情。
From time to time, Tzu Chi volunteer Wu Jialin will go to the community to see how the residents are doing.
记得吗？我们今天不是要去看病吗？
哦，妈妈，要带你去看病哦。
Since these Morakot survivors from the mountains moved into the community, Wu has been visiting them regularly.
因为那个时候都大家一直在谈这个习俗，一直在谈这个文化。他跟我讲说，那个文化不一定要摆在山上，你摆在底下都可以呀。所以他这么一点，我就把我点醒了。所以，
把我们的希望分享每一个人。
Every Wednesday afternoon, members of Tzu Chi Teachers Association will come to the community to help the children with their studies. They have been doing this persistently for 10 years already.
做教育团队这边有这么多的老师。
Before the volunteer teachers arrive, Tzu Chi's social worker in the community will go door to door to invite children from every family.
就是说，他下午的时间他就。
因为他们从幼稚园我就陪他们，以前都扒在我身上啊，这样子，知道他们的家庭背景真的是会想要去多疼他们一些。
Apart from the class on Wednesdays, every night there is an after-school program for children living in the community. Tzu Chi's social worker, Zhuo Suxia, has put all her heart into this program.
就是说，我们其实在做这一块的部分，也是希望能够鼓励孩子能够向上。对，毕竟说我们从山上下来，其实我们是不具竞争力的。那我们如何做竞争力出来？其实就是要学习，就是要把功课读好。
One of the 40 survivors from the town of Xiaolin buried by a landslide, Ye Xiuxia, decided to plant trees as a way to restore forests in the mountains she used to call home.
我觉得应该要有一种感恩的心情，因为真的我们逃出来那一刹那，就觉得，老天爷为什么要把我们留下来？应该是要为我们的社会、为我们家乡，对，为我们自己，然后做一些有意义的事情，这样。
Another Morakot survivor, Li Xuezhan, who lives in the community Tzu Chi built in Tainan, is also planting trees for reforestation. In 7 years, he has planted 800 beeches and 400 maples in his hometown, which had been wiped out by Morakot.
讲放弃就像啊啦，
就对面啦，对面你种迄个光光安尼斜斜安尼啦，你这拢无完全拢无寸草不生，拢无法草啦，变光光啊，这要经过一段时间啦，但是迄个富裕啊，咱马上帮忙一下，这一个奇怪来帮忙安尼。
In the 3 years after Morakot's devastation, Tzu Chi helped build 1,302 permanent houses and 2 schools in southern Taiwan. Embrace everyone like family and feel others' pain as our very own. This is what the founder of Tzu Chi, Dharma Master Zheng Yan, often teaches Tzu Chi members. For 10 years, nothing has comforted Tzu Chi members more than seeing Morakot survivors rebuild their lives in the lowland and live in peace and safety thereafter.